I am David B. Collins. I am the candidate, the nominee for U.S. Senate from the Green Party of Texas. And you've just heard from Laura Palmer, in case you didn't get that earlier. She is one of the stalwart co-chairs of the Texas Green Party. Before I get into anything else, I have seen in the comments that some folks in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania are distraught and wondering how they can cast a vote for Hawkins and Walker this year because they don't want to vote for the big two. And they recognize that the Green Party has once again been shafted. I think there's something about write-ins. If you, before we go any further with this, go ahead and give them some details on how they can write you in.
Learn how to spell our names, and when you get the ballot, write us in. We will be counted in those two states, and we will get literature out in each state for how to do it in that particular state. So you can still vote for us in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. We just won't be on the ballot.
Right. Now, y'all mentioned a couple big names, Rachel Maddow and Amy Goodman, but let's look at something from the positive side as well. A certain Crystal Ball from Rising on thehill.com. Yes, big shout out to Crystal because she went on a tear, a huge rant about how the Democratic Party is acting, well, undemocratic in so many ways, as they have for a long time, and that's why so many of us have left the big two parties. She herself is not a Green, but she sympathizes with people who have declared themselves done with the duopoly. And she herself is saying that she can't be convinced to vote for either Trump or Biden. She hasn't said whether she's going to vote for Howie and Angela. She's been kind of coy about it. But I salute her for at least bringing it up, even if it's not one of your major media sources. It's certainly not MSNBC, which I remember from watching them 10 years ago. They actually were flirting with progressivism for a while. It's just that anybody who got a little too progressive for them was fired. So well, I'm very much done with MSNBC.
Crystal Ball did her homework and got the facts right. It was her journalism. The others were just repeating what they were hearing from the Democrats. And, you know, that's disappointing.
Right. Remember when Woodward and Bernstein were considered rebels and heroes to the cause, and you know, journalism actually was a public service. Now they're just stenographers for the Empire, and that's got to stop. So, Laura, you got questions? Fire away.
Yeah, David, I really just want to give you an opportunity to talk about, you know, the role of a senator in focusing U.S. foreign policy and how, you know, our nation is so far off the mark from what our green vision would be. So I really want to try to steer you towards the perspectives you would bring as a senator if you had the opportunity to serve.
Well, thank you for bringing up foreign policy. Interestingly enough, out of all the 7 or 8 questions on the League of Women Voters Texas questionnaire, there was not a single question that was dedicated to foreign policy, which is a big part of the senatorial diet. Pardon me. The closest they got was immigration policy. Of what, you know, how are we going to solve the immigration problem, or the problem of refugees or people seeking asylum on our borders and so forth. And as far as I'm concerned, that was just the wrong question. The question to ask is, why has United States foreign policy been so morally bankrupt, especially in our Latin American quote unquote backyard, for so many decades? I did mention in one of the messages that I recorded for Houston Public Media and for Texas PBS that what we got is a problem of people fleeing the countries that we have helped destroy through our military spending, through our protection of dictators over the years and people, you know, dictator wannabes, and making it so that they have limited choices. I keep thinking of this choice between Democrats and Republicans or Biden and Trump today as just the El Salvador choice. It was so much like in the 1980s when your only choices in El Salvador were center right and far right. And that was only because the U.S. actually did some talking to El Salvador and said, you know, you got to have at least something that looks somewhat liberal on the ballot so you'll have some sort of international legitimacy. Well, the problem with the United States right now is that we don't have any actual international legitimacy. People certainly love us for our culture and the freedom that we talk about so loudly over our media sources, but they certainly don't care much for our neoliberal economic policies and our neoconservative foreign policies, which are nothing but running interference for the corporatist empire. Nobody in the two major parties and nobody in the major media will talk about that, because it's the part you're not supposed to say out loud, that the United States has become what it says that it deplores. You know, we supposedly defeated a wannabe empire in the 1940s, and I wouldn't say that we've gone so far in that direction that we have become Nazi Germany, but we certainly have those tendencies, not just domestically, but on the world stage. And that's got to come to a stop. Howie is proposing a 75% reduction in defense spending or something like that. 75%, is that what you're saying? And you've got all the numbers crunched. And we got to put those towards what Martin Luther King called programs of social uplift. And all those people, all those people who claim to admire Dr. King so much, and you don't really get what he said, they just need to shut up and let the doc speak for himself.